Hi friends, welcome to Sean's Retroverse. Today we're going to be looking at the 1541 Ultimate 2 Plus once more. But the difference this time is we're going to be looking at Ethernet. So let's plug it in and get started. Okay, really the only thing I see that needs to be done here is we plug in the Ethernet cable and plug it into a router or modem, and we turn the unit on. What we can see here is it comes up, and don't know if you can see that or not, but we have Ethernet activity light that lights up green. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and hit the button. Now, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it seems to actually make a little bit of a squealing noise. Kind of sounds kind of like monitor chatter, but not quite. And I can hear it, and if I unplug it while it's on, it turns off. So apparently, I think one of the LEDs in there or something in the Ethernet seems to squeal a little bit. That's the first thing I notice plugging it in. But when we, let me hit the button here, we can look and see. Let me get the quick shot here out of the way. And cursor back, here we go. We see link up, it has an IP address that matches, well, I thought it matched my home network, but it really doesn't. 192.168.2 isn't anything that I recognize. So let's take a look and see what is happening here. So I'm going to go into network settings. We have it set up, it's a static IP right now. And so yeah, here we're going to have to actually set up, so we can disable it, or we can have it enabled. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we have to set up static IP on this. So my network is .192.168.1. But let's just put it on 50. I'm pretty sure that's not a used IP address on my network. Netmask is 255.255.255.0. The static gateway, in this case, is going to be 1.1. And that's just basically my router settings. For some reason, I figured it would use DHCP because it's enabled, but hey, that's all right. We can put it here for now. So if I back up out of that, what I'll do is I'll reset. I'll do a hard reset on this. Yeah, I'm taking a listen. I definitely still hear that the squealing sound coming from that. It seems to be squealing with the light, so I don't know. Just sometimes semiconductors can make a little bit of racket if they have some light vibration in them or something like that. Overall, it's not killing my ears. It's just something I noticed. So, well, anyway, let's go ahead and see what we have now. We have link up. Now look at that. See, 192.168.1.109. It has successfully picked up a DHCP address. And so that's probably okay. Static was, yeah, that works, but let me see. Shift F2. Let's go back to network settings. Yeah, and so you can see it's not using the static IP right now, but it doesn't have to. Okay, really quick. Let's see what we can hear. When you hear, not sure if you can hear that or not. It sounds kind of like a cricket chirp. Pretty much whenever the light goes out, when there's activity going on. And of course it's not doing it now. Yeah, so that's kind of a peculiarity of the Ethernet on that. But let's take a look at the actual telnet support. Okay, I am now at my desktop machine, and I have left the C64 downstairs playing a game. Attract mode, it's playing Bare Essentials. Been waiting a while for that game to come out, and it finally came out. Pawnsoft.uk. You can go check it out. But it's playing right now, and just So we're just kind of emulating that the C64 is in use right at the moment, just since it'll be more interesting to watch. And so let's see, we have a little ta-da, little window here in the corner that I have set up. So let's take a look and see what we can do. We are on the network. One thing of note, I did set up a static IP address and disable DHCP, just because I can always remember the IP address 192.168.150, which is what I have set up. So let's take a look here. I'm just going to run command and type in ping 192.168.1.50. So you can see we get an ICMP reply back from the Ultimate 2. That's the C64 responding to us. We can type in the host name, but it does not work for me. And I'm not sure why that is. I just don't know that it's broadcasting the host name out on the network. If it's just not, if maybe my firewall settings are too stringent or what. But your mileage may vary. It may work for you, but I haven't been able to get the host name to work, so that's why I am sticking with just IP address for now. With that being said, you can use PuTTY, which is an SSH client. Matter of fact, I'm going to be typing this a lot, so I'm just going to copy and paste it for later use. We can see PuTTY doesn't like it because it's telnet. Now, what we can do is we can click on telnet if we so choose. Alternatively, we can use PuTTytel, which is basically the PuTTY client without SSH. It's just standard telnet. And so let's try connecting there. And what you can see is the menu comes up. It's a little bit ugly. It's got these cues up here. And if you hit enter, you'll see the menu is not very pretty. If you hit the up and down arrow, you get garbage echoed to the screen. And so it's not the best user interface. You hit enter, all those arrows are all done at once. I don't know what I'm saying. Are you sure too? Let's just back out of there because we need to know really what we're doing. So, if you go out to Google and type in 1541 Ultimate PuTTY, you're sure to find this PDF file out there. I'll just do a quick glance through it. It tells you how to set up PuTTY. But I'm going to show you how to do that in the video, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but it's there for your reference. I'll try to link that in the description. So, let's go back in here, and we're going to go, first of all, to Terminal. And you'll see these local, or the line discipline options for the local echo and local line editing. Force that crap off. Because that's what echoes the garbage to the screen. Now, when we do that, we can use the arrow keys. It works good. We can do up, down, we can arrow right, we can arrow left. We can go hit F2 to get into our settings menu. And we can arrow right, but we can, oh gee, the arrow left doesn't work. Backspace doesn't work, which brings us to our second option that we want to set up. So again, we put in the IP address, force this off. The next one will be keyboard. So the backspace key we want to make Control H. And so when we do that, we can then go hit F2. We can go into one of the configuration menus. We can arrow back and forth to change the options, but hit backspace, and it gets us back out. Now, here's something curious, a bug, if you will, that I found. You'll notice that user interface settings is here, and then it's here, and here, and here, and it continues to show up more user interface settings each time you log in to Telnet. In fact, I've logged in 3 times since I last powered on the Ultimate 2 Plus, and so there's 3 here. I just happen to notice these menu settings you can actually go to. You can go into any of them. They just give you the UI settings, and so you can backspace out of it. Go in here, you can right arrow, backspace out of it. It's the same one, but what eventually happens is it will fill up this window. And eventually what happens is the Ultimate 2 Plus stops accepting telnet connections. You just use them all up at some point. And so when you close out of PuTTY forcefully, it doesn't close your prior sessions, which is kind of a bummer. Something else I've noticed from trying to remedy this remotely is, you can hit F5 to bring up your action menu. And of course, the F keys work exactly the same as they do on the C64. You just, it's not going to make, for page up and page down, since the F keys on a PC keyboard are horizontal, they won't make as much sense. But just if you remember, F1 is page up, F7 is page down, F2 is your configuration, F5 is your action menu. You should be pretty good. I have tried doing a hard system reboot. I'm not going to do that now, because what that does is that seems to crash the Ultimate 2 Plus. Maybe just when using it over telnet, but it does seem to crash it, at least on this firmware revision 3.0C build 109. So that's just a couple little things, a quick note. I'm going to hit the left arrow key and get out of there. So we're on the menu. Still looks ugly. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of the session, and I'm going to do the last setting. That's going to make it look a little nicer. Wow, I completely didn't mean to do that. 192.168.1.50. Let me copy that again to my clipboard. We're going to turn off these. We're going to go to keyboard, Control H, then go to under Window, Translation right here. The remote character set is UTF-8. Change it to the next option down, the ISO 8859 Latin 1 West Europe. And while I'm at it as well, I'm going to go ahead and put in Ultimate here, and I'm just going to save the settings, so that way I don't have to worry about them again. And so here it is. You can see the little cues are gone, the menus look a little nicer and cleaner. The upper left of the menu isn't, doesn't have a, maybe that's a bug. It's not that big a deal, though it still looks completely usable. Where you can see the corner of the menu box is not closed. But that's all right. We're going to go in here and enter into the menu. Now, we left the C64 playing bare Essentials. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go in, let's go into SID play, for instance. Keep on forgetting to right arrow, which bypasses that menu. But that's okay. We're going to, let's say, 720 degrees. C64 should have just reset and is now playing 720 degrees. Let me see if I can hear it. Yeah, I hear it. I'm sure this is driving all my friends over there in the UK completely nuts, because the song's probably playing at NTSC speed. But that's what I grew up with. That's the way I remember hearing it. Not saying it's any wrong, because the best games came out of Europe, we know, for the C64. But I digress. So let's take a look here. Let's play another one. Now, something I found. If you hold down the arrow key, now I've let go of the arrow key, but it's still sailing. And so be careful holding down the arrow key. You're going to fly past what you're looking for, because it loads up a whole bunch of arrow keystrokes into the buffer. And so that's a little bit on the slow side. Again, if you need to go through a lot of screens, hit F7 to page down, F1 to page up. So let's see. I'm going to go to Dragon's Lair Part II. We'll say Song 5. Classic Rob Hubbard. And what can I say? I always like the really industrial, gothic type rock sound of this particular soundtrack. It's pretty cool. But hey, there it is. I'm playing SID files remotely. That's pretty kick-ass. So let's go take a look at cartridges. I'm going to go start up Bruce Lee 2, run the cart. The C64 has rebooted. We're still on this screen right here. It's like an ultimate little remote control. It even says remote on it for the C64. C64 is playing Bruce Lee. I can kind of imagine it must be sitting there going... That's pretty cool. Now let's try Dig Dug. Running a cart. There it is. Dig Dug is on the screen now. And so let's go to discs. We can do something like M.U.L.E here. I'm going to hit run disk. And guess what? It's rebooted. It's now doing a load star, comma 8, comma 1 automatically, which is allowing M.U.L.E to load. Now, while that is doing its magic thing, I'm going to go check out the FTP, because I'm going to give M.U.L.E a minute to load. You know, it's a cool game. We're going to hear some M.U.L.E music real quick. And so, I'm going to use Windows File Explorer. You can use your FTP client of choice. Remember, this is FTP, not secure FTP. We're not using secure applications on the Ultimate 2 Plus, at least yet. So just keep that in mind if you are going to make this visible to the internet. That, you know, it's not necessarily secure, so you might want to keep your 1541 Ultimate behind a firewall. But with that being said, you can use your FTP client of choice. I'm just going to go in here and type in FTP://. Well, we can see it's already in the history. And you can see USB 0 shows up just like it does any other time. I hit F5 there to refresh my screen because it still had cached information. So what I'm going to do is ponsoft. You know what? It's UK. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to download this game, Dog. You're a dog and you have to drop little dog logs on your neighbor's lawn. Absolutely hilarious. It's funny and fun for about 10-15 minutes, and then after that it's boring, but it's absolutely hilarious. Go check it out. It's, you know, just a fun little game. Download Dog. So right here it is. Gee, where did that download to? How do I want to open this file? How about I don't want to open it? Show all. Show in folder. Here we go. Didn't mean to download it twice. I didn't think to actually set up a download location for the browser, but that's okay. I'm going to make a new folder. We're going to call it Tests, and I'm just going to paste it right in here. And now I've downloaded the file off the internet, transferred it over FTP to the Ultimate 2. I'm going to hit the left arrow key and get back here. Oh look, test is there. I wonder if M.U.L.E is done loading yet. Alright, anyway, I'm getting carried away here. M.U.L.E is also a very excellent game, so play it if you're not aware of it. It's addictive as hell, but I'll let you discover that for yourself. So we're going to go into tests. I hope M.U.L.E is done loading. I can't hear if it's done loading or not. We're going to just pretend for a minute that I wasted enough time for it to actually load while we were sitting here messing with downloading Dog. Because now I'm going to run Dog. Sorry, M.U.L.E. You've been taken over by Dog. So there was a little bit of a delay there, I noticed. But it did finish going through. I guess it's loading now. Dog is a fairly short program. It's only 17 blocks. It won't take long to load. And so I just now copied that over to the 1541. So something else I've been doing with my Ultimate 2 Plus is I've been getting copies of my physical discs that I used to play as a kid on my C64. And here's where they're at. I've got my backups folder on the 1541. And so I'm going to grab, I don't know, Midnight Magic. Let's grab Caverns of Eriban. And these all have other games on them as well. But I'm just going to copy, paste them. Right here they are. Transferred to my PC. And now if I so want, I can open up a copy, for instance, of Vice. And let's just load this up. And I'll tell you right now, this is Fort Apocalypse, which is what's loading. Let's hit Alt-W and warp speed it. Helps if I'm on the right one. And so here's the copy of Fort Apocalypse, I actually used to play from floppy disk. The exact same version, the exact same cracks applied, and whatever else. Ah! That same crappy blue helicopter who's just hanging there waiting for me to come along the corner. Oh, you suck. You suck. Oh, you suck, Chopper. Alright, we're going to do a little Alt-R to reset this. LOAD $8. Still have that disc mounted. We can see David's Midnight Magic. I'm going to have to turn off my joy keys here so I can arrow up. Pretty sure I didn't have to put the -1 there because I believe it's just a basic program loader. But there it is. I'm going to hit Alt-W now to warp speed it. Watch it fly. And I believe it was, what, F6, something like that? And then the Shift key. Now, the way I... there it goes. I hit the Alt key. Oh, there it is. The Control key is the other flipper. So yeah, cool. Midnight Magic. I remember actually playing this in 1985 down in my basement when we had a huge flood. And if you're familiar with the 1985 in the East Coast, we had the flood of 85. This is the game I was playing. The exact copy of the game I was playing during the flood of 1985. This is the disc I was playing at the time, or an image of that disc. That's pretty cool. Same thing here. We got Caverns of Eriban, which of course has Action Biker on it. Suppose I'm about to turn on my joy keys for this. There it is, Action Biker. And now I know all my friends over in the UK, and I'm assuming the sound's coming through for this, are going to be like, that is playing way too fast for me. That's okay. It's what I was used to. So yeah, that's an actual disc that I used to also play as well as a kid. Caverns of Eriban. Guess what? I got to turn off joy keys again. I wish they had a keyboard shortcut to turn those off. Let's see. LOAD. (8,1). Warp speed 184 blocks, something like that. Run. And the music for this game has always been completely stupid. Every version I've heard has music playing at a different speed. But this is the version I used to play. Kind of similar to Fort Apocalypse in the way it plays. But there it is. Meanwhile, back down at the basement, the C64 is just kind of doing its own thing. So, let's see here. If we go to the backups, go to Enter. Let's go to Caverns of Eriban. And we can actually run that one because it's a single PRG file, so we can DMA load it. Now it should be playing it on my actual C64. So, that kind of shows how we can transfer files to and from the Ultimate 2 Plus. Shows that you can remote control. Pretty much you have the menu just the way you see it right there. So you can do all the controlling that you want to. You can swap disks. And I might as well show that as well. I can put on Moon Patrol, and I can mount the disc, and it shouldn't interrupt anything that the C64 is doing because we only mounted the disc. But what I might be able to do is hit F5, and I'm going to reset the C64. Maybe? I don't know. Moon Patrol. Let's see. I think there's an actual program in here called Moon Boot. So what happens if I run that? I have no idea what's happening because I can't actually see this nifty little window down here. But it should be booting the program that boots Moon Patrol. And so Moon Patrol is loading up right now. I'm assuming with fast load because I'm thinking I just did a reset of the C64, which should have retained the fast load ability. But yeah, there it is. Okay, well, apparently Moon Patrol did not boot as I expected it to. I guess the reason for that is that I did a DMA load on the basic boot program, which caused it to not access the floppy drive, so it just kind of sat there and did nothing. So I guess that's just, DMA load really isn't designed for basic programs, although it does work. The basic program the loader didn't behave the way it was supposed to and start loading Moon Patrol. But that's okay. This shows pretty much what you can do right now with the 1541 Ultimate Plus 2 Ethernet. Pretty much as you can see, you can do anything you can do from the menu on the actual Ultimate 2 Plus. So that's a pretty cool thing. You can also FTP. I heard some reports from some users that FTP was slow or didn't work or whatever, but as you can see, I really didn't have any problem with it. But I also wasn't uploading hundreds of files or anything like that to it, so I really wasn't transferring a lot of files. I just transferred 2 or 3. But copying to and from the unit both work just fine. There is no secure FTP, there's no SSH, it's just basic FTP and telnet. And I'm assuming at some point you might be able to use it for online BBSs, but I don't believe there's any support for that yet. So to be able to directly access the internet from the C64, that is a future firmware revision. But they're just not there yet. So this is still fairly new hardware. I think Gideon's really still focusing on getting the hardware out there. And then he'll probably, once the orders slow down a little bit, I'm sure he'll get in and update the firmware to support a lot of new features. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I hope you found this video interesting and useful. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I will have other things coming up soon. For instance, the next video I'll work on is going to show how to copy from a physical 1541 to the Ultimate 2 Plus. I've also got some other projects, some arcade-related projects. I've got to bring my arcade machines back home, and so I'll be doing some repair, hopefully some repair videos on some of those, and some Commodore repair videos coming up real soon. Thank you for watching this episode of Sean's Retroverse, and have a blessed day.